Starting today, I'm gonna make a series of a series of the videos to show how to build a website with Python and Django. Specifically, we're gonna do this thing in Windows 10 on Windows 10, and version of Python will be is gonna be 3.6. We're gonna use Django 1.10, and we'll use Eclipse IDE and then PyDev. Now there are other, the OS environment as well as Python version, Django version. You can use other tools to build it, but I choose to use this this combination of uh, tools and environment to build this because just based on some of my observations and experiences, uh, that just more people use this combination. So that's what I'm going to do this series of tutorials in on Windows and with the Python versions 3.6, Django 1.10 with the Eclipse IDE and the PyDev. Okay, so before we started this particular segment, I'm just going to go through the basic uh, the tools you needed as well as the initial skeleton of the project. So from development setup perspective, obviously we're going to use Windows 10, assuming you already have that set up already. Now we are going to use Python 3.6. Here is a couple of things I will show you, because when you download, go to Python site, you download it. There are actually two separate versions. One is 2.7 plus plus, and then the other would be is Python 3.6 dot dot dot. You For this particular tutorial, we are using 3.6, so you have to download that. One thing you have to make sure is you download the 64-bit, because I'm assuming most of your machine will be doing the development on 64-bit. So make sure you download, because the default, as I find out, is actually a 32-bit. I have not tried the 32-bit, so but I'm using 64-bit. So the other thing you need to be aware of it is the install. Now, I said that once you install, you make sure you put in the directory name into the Windows Python Windows path variables, so it can point to where Python is. This I'm to save the time, I'm not going to show this piece because I actually covered this in the previous video tutorial segment, and you can take a look. But again, just, you can also Google it. It will tell you how to do it. Okay, so make sure this is being set up correctly. And then obviously you need to download the Eclipse IDE, and I'm using the Eclipse Neo version 3. Okay, and then once you have the Eclipse installed, you need to go to the Eclipse marketplace to download the PyDev. Okay, so these are the development setups we needed before we even started the work. Now, the since we're doing this we're using this to develop a website, there are some common web components where a lot of people use this, and we will be using that too. And so this is what we're going to use for Cascade Start Sheet. We're going to use Bootstrap, and Bootstrap gives you a basic better looking view than just the out-of-box web HTML display. We're gonna also use this called admin LTE. That's a Cascade Starsheet library somebody else developed. It's well known on the internet. You can Google it. I'm gonna show you the location as well in the next slide. And with this, the admin LTE, it actually gives you different skin. I am going to use the skin dash blue, which is part of this download. Okay, I will show you too. So these are the three Cascade Starsheet I'll be using. Through the classes, I will add through this tutorial, I will add some of the style sheet specific to this project. Okay, and then the JavaScript I'm using is I use jQuery, and obviously when you do the Bootstrap, it comes with a JavaScript as well as when you install the MLTE, it comes with the JavaScript as well. The vue.js actually is also a well-known common JavaScript modules. We're going to use this down the road in the later stage because it gives you a better Ajax handling as well as handling the data to the visual rendering as well. So this I will be using that. Now, one thing I want to point out here on my notes, it says jQuery 2.2.4. The actual use of it, I'm using jQuery 3. I mean, obviously it's a newer, and there is no particular. I have not seen the conflict by using the 3, so I decided to use 3. Well, the reason on this note it was listing 2. Plus is because it comes with part of the Bootstrap download. So, but I replaced that with a newer version jQuery. Okay, so that's what the website libraries we're going to use to build our website. The notes, this note page. I'm basically showing you where the location of these libraries are. You can go download it. I will post these locations on the video tutorial, note section, so you can actually point and click, copy and paste it. Okay, so that's basically the the quick note in terms this what we need to build the website. Now, what I wanted to is to make sure to kind of show you what is the end game. This is basically the wireframe of the design of the website look like. First of all, I want to thank AveTech, because AveTech is where I'm teaching Python classes. I have asked AveTech the permission to use their they have this portal site which allows their faculties to log in to manage the users and courses. So I basically I spoke with AveTech folks, and they are graciously enough to let me give me the permission to use that as an example to build a website. So what we're gonna at the end of the goal is to build a website. This is what the wireframe look like. Okay, so when you first hit the site, you will see a login window, right, with a username and password, and it allows you to do a self-registration and change the password. So you see nothing behind it. It's just a login window. Okay, and then the next once you log in, if you log in, you'll see this. It's a landing page where you see this is the main menu, and this is really it's a side menu for handling the other non authentication related. Now keep in mind, as we're building it, you will see it. These menus show sometimes disappearing. The reason for that is because it's the user based on the user access privileges. The main menu may show when you log in or may not show. Okay, but this is always there at the home section. This home button matches all these items. It's accessible to anybody. There is no restriction to what user you are in when you log in. Okay, and so this is what look like the main menu, and this is the side menu. Now when I click on each of the main menu, the side menu changes, and it reflects to the main menu where you are. Okay, so in terms of the colors and the fonts and sizes, please don't pay much attention to it, because again, this is more of a wireframe design for the screen. It has no particular relation to the end result other than the layout and the logic function between each of the buttons to the menus. Okay, so assuming we click on the student, the next screen you will see, it will be like this. See, so the menu is highlighted, and then the side menu will have all these the functions pertains to the student. Okay, so that's what really what the what will for us when we build this exercise tutorial at the upon the completion of that, that's what we want to build. Okay, so let's before I started, I want to show you my environment because I already covered how to set up the environment in in the other video tutorial, so I'm not going to go through that again. Uh, but I will show you my development environment, so at least you can see the the environment what you should be before you even start this, right? So first is this is my C drive on Windows because this is Windows environment. This is my C drive. If you look at the C drive, uh, this is where when I install Python 2.7, this is actually, if you don't change anything, you click next, 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 it actually will install Python in this directory under the C drive, okay, at the root level, Python 2.7. Now, when you install 3.6, it's a little bit different. It actually, the default, if you don't change anything, it actually goes to your user app data directory. So, but to keep it consistent, I actually choose to install at the Python 3.6 directory at the root. And so that way, at least it's easier for me to track. Okay. Now, so that's one. In my slideshow, I said make sure you remember where you install this, because what I also said is in this slideshow is you needed to change your path directory to basically point to this location. So I already done it, so I'm not going to redo it again, but I will show you what I mean by that. So if you click on the click on this PC, you click on the property, right? And then you click the advanced setting, you click the environment variable, right? And then you come down, look at the path, right? The path, system variable path. You click on edit, and here you are. You see this? So you add these two these two locations to the path variable, because these are all the paths where the path variable points to. You need to add these to it. Don't worry about the whether this is in here or at the end of it. So basically, you click new, right, and you just added this here. Now, if I want to default to use Python 2.7, I would just come over here, edit this, change it to 2.7. Okay. So, but make sure you have these two are there, Python 3.6/scripts and Python 3. Okay, so these very important to make sure these gets created in here. Okay, so again, it's in the system variable path. Okay, you click on edit. Okay, so that I already set it up. So as you can see, now I also talked about the Eclipse, right? So assuming you already installed the Eclipse, so this is my version Eclipse. Okay, it's the Neo 3, right? So I installed this already, and then to add the PyDev module, so that's really the tool to develop your Python code, because again, my Eclipse by its own original design, it was intended for Java. So now we're doing this. Use this to do the PyDev development work. So we need to add that. So you go to Eclipse Marketplace, right? You do a search here, right? So you do a search here. Now, in my case, I already installed, so it's already installed. But if it's not, you click this, you will install this. Okay, so make sure this gets installed. So now I got all this. There's the last piece of this, that is to because we're doing Django. I already did this already, but I'll show you this. Okay, so remember when we did the class variable here? Let me show you this. Remember I'm sorry, the path system variable path where I set right here the path. Remember I said two variables, right? This particular one will allow the system to pick up the Python interpreter. This is the one that actually will allow the utility script used by Python development uh, will be able to pick up at the command line. Okay, so one of the most common used one in Python is called pip. It allows you to install your source code, right? So what because we're doing this doing Django development work, so we need to install Django library. Now the syntax to do that is you type pip install and then you do Django. Now the Django has many versions. The latest versions are actually already 1.11 something. We are not going to use 1.11, and we're going to use is 1.10. Okay, the latest one is actually 7. So what you do is you type equal equal, meaning you specifically tell the system you want to install Django 1.7.1.10.7. Okay, now if you do this right, I already have this version installed, so it will tell me it's already installed, but I'm going to run it anyway, so you can at least you know the command line syntaxes. Okay, so they said it's already installed. Okay, now if I don't do this right, if I hit this, it actually will install 1.11. I think it's .2. In the interest of keep the time short, I'm not going to run this. Okay, so this will have to be done because otherwise you won't be able to do the Django development because you have to load the Django framework first. Okay, so this is already done, so we're good. Now we are at now we are starting this. Now just ignore these because we're not using this. So this will so we will start from this point, right? So we'll create a new project, Django project. So this is what you do in the file, new, right? And you click on the other. If you have not done anything, because it will look like this. So you will go look through this, locate the PyDev if you install PyDev correctly already. So you'll see here, and then you click on open up. There are a number of wizards to create the project. The one you want to select is PyDev Django project. Okay, don't select anything else because we are creating a Django based Python project. So you select the PyDev Django project. Okay, so we click next. Now the project we're going to use is called EvTech Passport. And again, this is just I'm used to it, so I recommend you do this because Django starts everything with a project. So I named this as EvTech Passport underscore project. Okay, and this tells you where the location is. This is very important now. We are using Python 3.6. So you need to come over here, select grammar version, which version of the Python you're using. In our case is 3.6. Okay. This is also very important. Without correct setting this, you will not be able to get this thing running right. Okay. So I already have this configured already on the system. Most likely scenario, when you do this from first time, you need to click this. So, but I'm going to click this just to show you. Okay, so you will click here, say, to configure an interpreter. Now, I already have a Python 1 set up correct already, which points to, you see this points to version 3.6 Python. Okay, and if you don't have that, what you needed to do is you click the I usually click the advanced auto config. Okay, so because once it does that, I already set it up, so there's no point. Once it will automatically pull out the Python, all the Python executables, and you just have to pick one. And in case in your case, you just we for this video tutorial we're using 3.6. So based on your machine installation, it will pick that, and then you just name that particular combination and just select that. So that's what you have. Okay, so I am going to come over here to pick the Python one, right, which is has the profile of all points to 3.6 locations. So once this is set up, again, by the way, this entire configuration I have show you in other video tutorial. You can go to YouTube, Google it, and, with the keyword JW, and then Python Eclipse configuration. It will have that. Okay, so these two, once this is to set, these two configuration parameter set, we'll just click next. Ignore this because we're not using other project for this project, so we'll just ignore this. This is also important. Okay, because the database connection syntax are a bit different, so and also the general setting are a bit different between the versions. Make sure you pick is 1.4 or later. Okay, because we're using 1.10. Okay, now if you are using different databases, this is where you can add to it. As you can see, I'm looking at the drop down. You can see there are various different databases. Okay, if your database is not on this list, you may want to just Google it, and I'm sure it will have some answers for you. Okay, but keep in mind though, all these are actually relational databases, and so for a non-SQL based database such as MongoDB, you're not going to get an integration in this. Okay, uh, these are the connection strings, the IP addresses, usernames. Now, for this exercise, we are only going to use the default Python SQL Lite database, which is the SQLite. So, and this tells you the location. Now, if you want to name to something else, you can name it, but I'm going to just leave it default. Okay. So we do it. Finish this. Now we create a initial skeleton. Okay, that's the initial project. Now, if I run this, you actually we can just run this. So if I run this, run as a Python Django application, right? So run this.